Welcome back to Celebrity Catwalk. It's another exciting episode. Thank you very much for catching us on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. And if you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit that notification bell and like and subscribe so that you won't miss a single episode. Well, we had to have an incredible designer, an advocate, and Celebrity Catwalk supporter on the show. This is Maria Lopez of Precious Paws Boutique. Did I get that right, Maria? Yes?
That is correct.
Maria is leaving us. She is fleeing New York for Florida. And so the pressure was on to get her and her gorgeous designs. You've seen them for years on the Paws in the City Catwalk. But we really had to get her on before she left us for the gorgeous Sunshine State. We're very jealous and sad. But we'll still keep having her on the catwalk. But we really have to, her story is very interesting. And we had to have her on, and this is just a small sampling of Maria's incredible work. Maria, thank you very much for being here. Thank you for your patience with us today.
Thank you, no problem.
So, Maria, we have to start because what a lot of people don't know is that your canine designs really evolved.
That's correct.
From you suffering from a heart condition.
Correct.
So, Maria suffered from a heart condition. She then started and continues to this day to crochet and knit and create hats for babies who also have that heart condition in the hospital.
That's correct.
Please tell us about that, Maria.
Well, I was born with congenital heart disease. And at the age of 5, I had to have an open heart surgery. My brother, who followed after me, also had an open heart surgery. So throughout that time, you know, I was limited in doing exercise. I was going through school. And about 7 years ago, I had to have a second open heart surgery to replace a pulmonary valve. And that pretty much got me a little depressed, a little down. And I started pretty much looking into different groups on Facebook with babies who had the same condition. And I just couldn't believe how many babies had more than 2 open heart surgeries to repair their heart. So I was kind of fortunate. And during that time, I started taking some loom knitting, and I started making hats for the babies. And then on Facebook, I would ask them what kind of design or what kind of character they would like. And I started making these little hats.
See that? That's where I'll hold that up so we can really see that. Thank you, Maria. So these are the hats that really started the whole thing.
Correct.
Okay.
And then my boyfriend decided to get me a dog, a Yorkie. And from that time, I started just looking at sweaters in the stores and just didn't find anything cute. So I started making these doggy designs for boys, and then little by little, you know, I was posting it on Facebook, and they would ask me for me to make them a sweater. And then I started making girl sweaters and started knitting sweaters. It just came about, just something that just came about. And the knitting has made me so much calmer. My anxiety has kind of fallen away, and it's just been incredible just making these beautiful sweaters and auctioning them off in different groups on Facebook, and even, you know, donating them to
yes, as you've donated them to us. So please please walk us through how you got the ideas for some of these wonderful designs.
Pretty much, I have the sports sweaters here.
How cute is that? All right, Yankees fans, where are you? Where you at? Where you at?
So I just made some
with
hats.
The matching hat, and you notice that the hat has the capabilities, so your ears go right through there. Look at that.
So, you know, just looking at what people wear and adding my own little swing to it, the blings and
yes,
the little hats with the flowers, and it just kind of continues to evolve, and it's getting better than it was before a couple of years ago. You know, my godson he went to the Marines, and I said, well, let me try to make something for his dog, and I came up with the Marine sweater. And the good thing is that you can wear them, you know, during the cold weather, and it looks classy. It looks, you know, very...
It's functional, and yet it's fun.
Yes. And so now this is a new design that I started. It's pretty much like a romper. And very, you know, it's
The
all
material
fur,
looks
very
absolutely
warm.
delicious, yes.
So a lot of people are starting to order these now. So I made it into a little tuxedo.
Look at that. Look at that.
So little by little, I'm adding more stuff and, you know, coming up with different ideas. I usually walk around and I see something and I pick it up and I try to figure out what can I make. If I don't make anything at that moment, later on, I come up with an idea and I come up with making something out of it. So yeah, this is how I started.
This is also a hat here?
That's also a hat.
Look at that doggy hat. How cute is that?
I have donated about close to 400 hats to babies, different places all over the world, out of the country, and recently just started donating it to one of the hospitals that I had my heart surgery. So yeah.
So it really has an intense personal
Yes, it
connection
does. It
to
does.
you. Who taught you how to knit?
I used to see my mother knitting when we were younger. She would knit us skirts and vests, but I pretty much learned it on YouTube.
I can't believe this. This is you are not the first person who has said that they have learned an incredible skill on YouTube.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
You know, it's not knitting
Okay.
or crocheting, it's loom knitting. It's with a wheel.
Okay.
And so a lot of people kind of shy away from that because it's you have to kind of analyze how you're going to make the outfit. So, you know, to make this part down here, you kind of have to figure out, you know, which knit you want to use to do that.
Yes.
So, yeah, not too many people do, they knit with the loom. A lot of them do it with the needles or the sticks that they use for crocheting.
Yes.
So, yeah.
And this looks like, correct me if I'm wrong, this is like a mix of different fabrications, yes?
Correct.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is like a faux fur, if you will, with the knit, yes?
Yes. A lot of people think that the fur is a piece of fabric, but it's not. It's actually yarn. It's a yarn that I knit.
Wow.
All these furs is all knitted.
That's incredible. That's incredible. What do we have over? Is this a backpack?
Yes.
You have got to hold that. Tell us about that.
I started making these
A
little
backpack.
backpacks.
That
and
is the cutest.
I think that this is something that I like to do during the summer because not too many dogs like to wear, knit. It's too warm for them, so I started making these little backpacks where they could carry their little,
Yes, their little
baggies,
poop bag, their little treats,
Or their
whatever you
little treats.
need. Whatever you need. Now
Yeah.
tell us, can you talk about Florida at all? We are so sad to see you go.
I did buy a house in Florida.
Okay.
And,
What part of Florida?
Orlando.
Orlando.
My son also lives out in Florida in
Okay.
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And he just had a baby. So I want to
Is
say
this
in
your
a couple
first
of years.
grandchild?
First grandchild.
Oh, okay. It's all coming together now. It's all coming together.
So I would say maybe in about another 2 years, I would definitely move out there. But I'm pretty much visiting a lot in
Okay, good.
Florida.
Okay,
Not
I thought
even
we
yet.
were losing you. I thought we were totally losing you.
Not yet. Not
Okay,
yet.
good. I thought that we were losing you right away. Okay, so you did buy the house.
Yes.
So it's impending. It's coming.
Yes.
But it may be a little while before you head that way.
I have it as an Airbnb,
Ah.
and it's doing pretty good. I'm really happy that it's doing great. So, but it's a lot
Nice.
of managing, making sure.
You're going to have to come back when we do because we've got to delve into the whole world of Airbnb because it definitely is a game changer. So we'll have to bother you to have you back to talk about that more. This is absolutely gorgeous. Please tell us about this design because this again looks like a mix correct me if I'm wrong, of fabrications.
It's also knitted. The fur is also knitted. I started with the yarn on the bottom, and then the rest is the fur, and then in the middle I put in another yarn and then added an applique. But it's all knitted. You know, people think that I'm buying fabric and just adding it and sewing it on. No, it's all knitted. Everything is knitted.
And can you give us a time frame on how long it takes you to do each design? Is that possible?
Yeah, I could say about 3 to 4 hours. I think the longest part of it is thinking what I want to add to it. The knitting is the easy part of it.
Right. Right.
So this is this one is.
And this is different because this is a wonderful fabrication with the knit.
Yeah, and I put the tulle on the bottom.
Right, to give it a little more body.
Give it a little, yeah. And my dog is a male, but he's my model, so he wears a lot of the girls' clothes.
Absolutely, he pinch hits and helps us out with what's going on. And this camo is another fantastic one with the matching hat as well.
That's right. Yes.
This is another beautiful, beautiful piece.
I try to see what people are wearing and kind of, you know, take the idea and come up with an idea close to it.
Right. How long, again, Maria, have you been doing this now?
Wow, I think I've been doing it for about 5 years now.
Your business has really taken off. And what I find so interesting is that, as you can see, these designs are very unique. You don't see these coming and going. You've really managed, and the dog fashion world has gotten extremely crowded. Absolutely. And even still, in getting crowded, you have managed to still set yourself apart, which is not an easy task. Yeah. How do you think you're able to? What's your secret? Without telling too many secrets, can you tell us what the public secret is, if you will?
Basically, I try not to. I put it out there for an auction or buy it now. They buy it, and I come up with another idea. I like to keep it unique. Maybe 2 or 3 people may have the same outfit, but I try to make it different all the time. And, again, I go out and I see something and I think about how can I use this to create a doggy sweater. And I'll buy it and I may use it at that moment, or I may wait and a couple of months later I see it and I come up with an idea with it. So.
Incredible. So where would you say, can you speak to where you think you get your design inspiration from? Books, movies, magazines, the Oscars, anything in particular?
I think everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything that you see.
Everything that I see.
Everything that you see. And then it's a matter of do you get your yarn from one place, or are you?
I'm getting the yarn online. Mm-hmm. Some of it I do also buy from Hobby Lobby or AC Moore, but AC Moore now is closing, which I'm sad.
Oh, wow, see that?
But pretty much Hobby Lobby or online.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then buying that fabric, and then 3 to 4 days later, from creation to conception, if you will, you've got this design going.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. I don't think we got the classic. You can't go wrong with the classic black sweater. Mm-hmm. And I love that this has this little shawl collar going on. Really wonderful. Your attention to detail with the pearl buttons is just absolutely wonderful.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful.
Even here's the leather. The little leather skirt. So
you definitely like to add embellishments and different little different things to it.
There are some people that don't. The embellishment is not their favorite, so I keep it simple.
Right.
But I also give them the option of, do you want me to add this? Do you want to not? I can take this off. So
you also take custom orders. Anyone can come to you with an idea, and you can create it, or a color, or a theme, or anything like that, which is really, really incredible. What's on any plans for 2020? What can we? Do you have any in particular where you'd like to see the line go? What you'd like to see happen? Tell us. Share with us.
I think that right now I can only focus on,
Right.
on this amount.
Right, right.
I'm hoping that, in a couple of months I'll start working from home, and it makes it a little easier for me to, to do that instead of traveling to work, that I'm taking that 1 or 2 hours
Yes.
to knit something else.
Gotcha. This is absolutely incredible. And I can't believe it all started with the hats. And how do you still find the time to make the hats for the babies in the hospitals?
During the summer.
Okay.
And then September, that's the time that I kind of go to the hospital and donate.
Wow, that's incredible. So the babies in the hospitals are wearing the hats?
Yes. And then I have my sisterhood, the Monique Melodies. They will donate the blinky blankets. And usually I ask them what fabric you have, and I kind of copy the fabric to the hat.
Wow.
So if they have a minion on it, then I would put the minion hat with the minion blanket.
Wow. So there's another group that you belong to
Yes.
that does a blanket as well.
Absolutely. And we kind of joined together and kind of put this together.
That's really incredible, and I had no idea. And these are babies in the NIC unit, or just in the hospital with heart issues?
Yes, in the cardiac unit.
In the cardiac unit. Absolutely. So this is something that really is near and dear. What made you come up with the knitting hats for the babies in the first place? Do you know how that happened?
I think that once I started to see the YouTube and trying to learn the loom knitting, the first thing that they pretty much teach you is either the scarf or the hat. So I started creating the hats, and then I started seeing, maybe I need to put something else to it to make it look cute. I started putting the ears and then making the eyes, and came up with doggies and different hats, characters.
Wow, gotcha. And from the hats, the dog collection
Correct.
came about.
Came about.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
And so when did you start adding, because I feel like it's relatively recent that you started adding the fabric on, yes?
Absolutely, yes. I kept it to knitting, and then I came up with the tutu. The tutu
yes.
skirts.
Very cute.
And I said, okay, let me see if I can add some fabric. I'm not really into sewing, but I started sewing the fabric to
Right.
the yarn. And this is how I started doing more of the skirts. I started seeing that people like
Yes.
the skirt idea.
Yes.
Came up with new
Yes.
ideas.
People love that. People absolutely love that. Do you also crochet? Is there, I don't know the difference between crocheting and knitting, but you have really mastered the loom.
The loom knitting. I don't knit, and I do not crochet. I have no idea how to do that.
But you have truly mastered. How long would you say it took you to really master the loom knitting? Because I feel like you've really got it down.
Yeah, I want to say in the last 3 years, I started this type of loom knitting just last week. I learned it on YouTube, and I said, wow, this is beautiful. So
That is
it takes longer. It takes a little longer than the regular knit.
Ah.
But I think that I want to continue, making some designs with this knit.
It's absolutely
Such
gorgeous.
A different knit.
It's a different look and really gorgeous.
And then I added the skirt.
Can you say about how many different, is it possible for you to say how many different styles of loom? Are there an infinite number of?
Yeah, I want to say that maybe about 20 that I've seen.
So far you've seen at least 20 different styles of loom
Yes.
knitting.
Yes, and again, it's just about learning it. So this is the first time, last week it was the first time I started this loom knitting. And it wasn't too bad.
It's fantastic for that to be a first time. I think you've mastered it.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's a beautiful knit.
That's incredible.
So, and I think that this is a good knit for the summer because it's a little bit more
Open and airy, yes.
airy. So, yeah, this might be something that I might do during the summer, maybe create skirts and the book bag for the back, and just put it together as a little set.
Incredible. Incredible. This is absolutely magnificent. I want to make sure that we have covered every item on the table because these are all absolutely gorgeous, Maria. Really, really special items. So this is truly something, and you coordinate the hats with so many of them, and I'm sure you obviously have an affinity to the hats. So this is absolutely wonderful. Dare I ask, what have you already created for your grandson?
I did this beautiful blanket.
Okay.
That was the only thing I did so far.
Oh, okay.
Because since he lives in Florida,
Right, true.
it's not much.
He
that,
doesn't need
you
a lot
know,
of sweaters and hats.
Yeah, but I think that as he gets a little older, I'll make him another blanket so that he can have a little blanket for himself.
Of course, it's coming, it's coming. But for now, Grandma made him a blanket,
yes.
which is wonderful. This is absolutely wonderful. And how is your brother, who has had his, you said he also had surgery?
Yes, my brother had surgery after I did.
Yes.
Because they said my heart was much more at risk. And unfortunately, he was killed at the age of 19 by a hit and run.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
But during the time, he was doing great. Yeah, unfortunately, that happened. It's always been something that I kept in my mind.
That you've kept in your mind. Oh my goodness. To have survived open heart surgery and thrived with that, and then to be killed by a drunk.
Yeah, that was a very difficult time for the family. Very difficult.
Just but how did you all, how long ago did this happen, first may I ask?
I would say it was about 40 years ago. No, maybe less than that, about 35 years ago.
And I think this is just a pervasive issue, off topic, but I think very relevant. Does the pain get any easier, or does dealing with the loss get easier?
It does, but you always have him on your mind, you know, and I always see my mom always thinking about him and talking about him and how much she worked with him, keeping us, you know, going. My mom has been a very strong person in our lives, and she is the person that has driven me to where I'm at today. I'm a social worker, and I work with elderlies and seniors, elderlies and people with disabilities, and making sure that they're getting the services that they need now. That's my full-time position.
Wow.
And this is my part-time.
You're part-time, but I feel like the thread of service goes through all of that.
Yes, it does.
You've really been drawn to being a social worker is a rough, that's a thankless job.
Yes, it is. But it's helped me understand, you know, health conditions that people have, and has helped me try to motivate them to, you know, to eat better and to do better with themselves. You know, I sit on the phone all day talking to people, and when I leave, it's just like I want to just walk and run because my legs are so tired from sitting. So, you know, it's something that, you know, I try to encourage people to do. You know, even though you're in pain, get out and walk, eat better, try to test your blood sugar, make sure that you're, you know, going to your appointments, taking your medication. So,
do you feel, because I think it's also a myth, would you say it's a myth or reality, that there are a lot of services for our seniors in this country, or do you feel that those services are only available to those of a certain income level?
I think at this time, we have the services that are being provided for people that have Medicaid and Medicare. And those services, if you ask for them, you can get them. You can get them. You know, you have to show the need for it. And it's a request that they can put in, and we can look into even providing them the services. They have home attendants. We try to keep them out in the community, not in nursing facilities. Of course, there are people that need to be in a nursing facility because they may not have anybody to care for them, or the care is not enough at home. So this is where we start to make that decision and helping them out. If they need, services in the adult protective services, we also, consult with them if there's something that's going on at home. So, a lot is the conversation that you're having with the members.
With the members,
people.
absolutely. Wow, incredible, Maria. Thank you, thank you. Please tell everyone where they can find you and what's the best way to reach out to you online for Precious Paws Boutique.
Okay, on Facebook, I have my group, Precious Paws Boutique. You can find me there. I'm also on Instagram, also Precious Paws Boutique. So look me up. If not, my name is Maria Lopez. You can look me up with that too.
You can find Maria Lopez on Facebook, and you can find Precious Paws Boutique on Facebook as well. Maria, thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for catching us on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. If you're watching us on YouTube, be sure to hit that like and subscribe bell so that you will not miss a single episode. Until next time, thank you very much for watching.